There was once a young, modern Native American man named Danny Roanoke. He lived on a reservation with his family and many other people called the Yaconi Reservation. His family ran a popular casino around Interstate 97 and made much money. One day, an elderly man who came in often went to one of the slot machines and sat down with a cup filled with quarters. It was obvious this man had a gambling addiction, but no one wanted to help him, since they only wanted to play their slot machines, poker games, and roulette. The elderly man sat at the slot machines for a seemingly long time, not putting in money or pulling the red-handled lever. One of the waitresses noticed this and started to watch him for a few minutes. When she finally worked up the nerve, she walked over to the elderly man. When she asked if he was okay, he didn't respond. She asked until she touched his shoulder, causing his cold, slightly stiff body to slump down. This old gambler was dead. She screamed and screamed until the police and ambulance came to take the body. The police were questioning the sullen owner, Gregory Roanoke, when Danny came home from the reservation school, as he lived on the top floor of the casino. He noticed all of the crying people, panicked faces, and the covered gurney. He saw that the gurney near the ambulance was left unattended, and with his young, curious mind running wild, he decided to see what was under the white, sterile-smelling blanket. He crept over to the gurney, not wanting to be noticed by anyone. He soon stood over the dead elderly man who was hidden from the public's eye by the blanket. With a trembling hand, he slowly lifted the blanket. What he would see would stay with him the rest of his life. He saw the elderly man's stomach was slightly protruding. His eyes were sunken in deeply, and that he was emaciated horribly. Danny's face went white as he lowered the blanket down. His eyes widened in shock. He backed away from the gurney as fast as he could. As he ran up the casino stairway to his room, he locked the door until everyone left the crime scene, which was his home. A few weeks later, he discovered that his father had committed suicide over the overwhelming guilt of the elderly gambler's death. Without his father running the casino, the business shut down and caused many of the reservation's residents to go into a small depression. With no one to help them, many of the children and elderly Native Americans passed away from their weakened immune system from not getting their needed shots. Disease ravaged nearly everyone, and the only healthy ones were the hungriest because of feeding their disease-ridden friends and relatives their shares. Because the casino was the only source of income for the reservation, many of the residents slowly starved to death. Even Danny's baby sister, Ebony, and mother, Ophelia, starved. Danny was left alone in the world at the young age of 15. Something snapped inside of Danny the day his mother died. Something caused his reasonable thoughts to become twisted and mangled. He became the soon-dreaded Thum Urr. He managed to get out of the Yaconi Reservation and lived alone in the wilderness, sometimes visiting the city. His reasons for visiting the city were not reasonable ones. He stole from the shops at night and killed beloved pets at his own sadistic pleasure, slicing their stomachs and letting the poor animals' stomach acid leak out and eat at their remaining organs. He made it worse by letting them go, the acid spreading inside their bodies until they collapsed somewhere, in front of the owner, preferable to Danny. He one day stole a video camera and a laptop from a small Best Buy in the area. He knew he would have to find somewhere to live to use these. He searched through the phone book and picked a name at random. Polinsky. The Thum Urr stole a bicycle and rode it to the house, which turned out to be far from the suburbs. It was nestled in the sprawling forest, called the Linnaeus Forest. He hid the bike and the backpack carrying his possessions behind the trash bins that were beside the lone house. He soon managed to infiltrate the house and murder the entire family, consisting of a single mother and 4 sons. He got rid of the ripped and torn bodies in the deep, deep woods, leaving them to rot and be eaten by the animals of the wilderness. He set up his things in the house. The story seems to end there. It's a really good story, but it's full of crap. There's definitely no such thing as a Thum Urr. That's what I tell myself every time I see a rumored video by the supposed Thum Urr. The videos are always the same. A camera focused on a sleeping person for a few minutes, and then a shadowy creature starts to run his fingers down their sides, giving them a false sense of security. He then leans over their face as if he were about to kiss their cheek, but he just hovers above them. He then looks at the camera for a creepy amount of time, then he just smiles. That smile sends shivers down my spine each time I see it. There's a rumor going around that after the person filmed sees their own video, they're soon killed. But that's just a load of crap, right? Right. Anyway, it's time to see what this creepy fucker uploaded this time. Stupid buffering. They really need to update Adobe. Finally, it's playing. This guy who's sleeping looks so peaceful. The blanket and pillows look so soft. His head is lowered to the point where I can't see his face. Here comes the creepy guy, touching that sleeping dude. What a creep. Wait. That hair. That bedroom. That guy he's touching is me.